Hello and welcome to Near Dark Podcast, episode 46. And today we're gonna go to a little island called Summer Isle. But before we do that, let's welcome the crew. We have Cracky. No, fuck. I just looked straight at Discord. Well, that didn't go as planned. We have Josef, we have Ogge, and then we have myself, Zombie. And we're gonna talk about the Wicker Man from 1973. But first we're gonna check how the crew is doing. Ogge, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, keeping busy. How about you?
Fair.
Huh.
I'm doing good. Just studying, but doing good. Joseph, how about you?
Well, I got the day off, so yeah, I'm good.
Nice.
Yes. I want to get something in there before we continue on. We are recording the 27th of May, this episode. And in 1911, I think, hold on. In 1911 and in 1922, there were two gentlemen who were born this date, and those were Vincent Price and Christopher Lee, which we are going to talk about today as well. So I guess happy birthday to them.
Happy birthday and rest in peace.
Yeah. You're gone but not forgotten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do we have any recently seen?
Since I wasn't on the Mother's Day episode, which I was supposed to be on, but because I had an inflammation in my jaw, I could barely speak. So I've been basically plowing through a ton of movies, and I got a lot of movies to pick from, but I will just pick a couple of them, which I've been watching.
Yep.
I finally catched up on the 2016, I think, Schiller The Boy, starring Lauren Cohen, Maggie in The Walking Dead. She plays a American woman who takes on a job in rural England as a nanny for a elderly couple and their boy, or their son, or and on her arrival, she realizes that the son in the family is in fact a doll. And the elderly couple, the day after she has arrived, they go away on a trip and leaves her alone with the doll in the house and a list of rules that she has to follow. Oh. And of course she ignores the rules, and strange things starts to happen in the house. The movie got a sequel earlier this year. I can't remember what it's called, but it's called something The Boy 2. I haven't seen that one yet, but I will at some point. I thought the Boy was it's a slow burn, and everything ramps up basically during the last 10-15 minutes or so, but I thought it was an okay watch. It's nothing that I'm gonna have any hurry to rewatch, really, but have any of you seen it?
No, but it sounds very interesting.
I've seen a little from it.
Yeah.
But I fell asleep.
Well, and then you fell asleep.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good grade.
Yeah.
And then I also, actually for the first time, and I watched this after we did the Switchblade Romance episode. I watched this for the very, very first time, and it was the director's cut of Evil Ed, the Swedish splatter movie from, I think it was released in '95. The director's cut is about 5 minutes longer than the theatrical cut. It's basically just one sequence that extends the movie. Have any of you seen Evil Ed to begin with?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard a lot about it and the making of why it is.
Yeah. Okay.
A long time ago, but I don't remember a whole lot from it.
It's a movie we will cover at some point. Since we're Swedish and, you know.
We gotta.
Yeah, it's a cult classic. And after I watched Evil Ed, I actually sat down and watched a 3-hour-long feature on the Arrow's Blu-ray disc of Evil Ed called Lost in Brainland, and it's basically a behind the scenes and retrospective of Evil Ed, and they go into detail about basically everything in the movie. It was very, very, very interesting to watch, since I've been a fan of Evil Ed since I think I saw it for the first time when I was 8 or 9 years old or something. And, you know, it's Swedish, so it's got a special place in my heart. So it's a lot of fun. It's a stupid movie, but it's a lot of fun. And Lost in Brainland was very interesting. And if you're interested in Evil Ed, you should really check it out. It's really good. The next thing I'm gonna talk briefly about is the 2010 British. I wouldn't say it's a zombie movie because it's not. It's a infected movie, if you know what I mean. Like 28 Days Later. It's called Devil's Playground. It's called London Zombie Epidemic, I think, in Sweden, for some odd reason. But on the disc, on the cover of the movie, it says London Zombie Epidemic, but on the disc it says Devil's Playground. So I don't know. But anyway,
Kärt barn har många namn.
what did you say?
Kärt barn har många namn.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, it's about this big pharmaceutical company that is experimenting with a new legal performance enhancer. And they test this new enhancer on 30,000 people in England. And everyone besides one person of all the test subjects gets really nasty side effects, which results in them basically becoming raving lunatics, and they start to kill a lot of people, and you know, they spread the infection. Craig Fairbrass is in there as one of the leading guys, and it's more of an action movie than a horror movie, really. But there are some horror aspects to it. But it's a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. Have any of you guys seen it?
No. What was the name again?
Devil's Playground. From 2010.
No, I haven't seen it.
And directly after that, I sat down and watched, or rewatched, I should say, the 2010 remake of George A. Romero's not so classic The Crazies. I actually prefer the remake over the original. I think I've seen the original once, and from what I can remember, that was enough. The remake, however, it's about the inhabitants of this small community starts to act really weird, and one thing leads to another, and these people who starts acting weird starts to murdering their families and their neighbors. It's sort of in the same vein as Devil's Playground and 28 Days Later, but not really. It's kind of hard to explain it without spoiling the movie, but you guys should check it out. Timothy Elephant is in there, and an actress, I can't remember her name right now. But yeah, 2 thumbs up for that one as well. It's really good.
A lot of recommendations here, I see.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of rewatching lately, and a lot of the movies I've seen has not been horror movies. I've been watching a lot of action flicks lately for some reason, and a couple of adventure movies as well. The last thing I'm gonna talk a little bit about is Polaroid. I think it came out last year. And it follows.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, it follows the old story. It's basically based upon the old Polaroid camera from hell story. It's been done countless times in other adaptations.
Mm.
And the Polaroid, if I remember correctly now, Polaroid is based on a short movie by a Norwegian director who also directed the theatrical version of the movie. And the director, I think his name is Lars Kjellberg or something like that. He also directed the 2019 remake of Child's Play.
Nice.
But anyway, the movie is about this loner girl, high school student, whatever, who gets her hands on this Polaroid camera, and it turns out that everyone that she takes a picture of dies in like a couple of days. And there's a mystery around this camera, and blah 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 blah. I thought it was entertaining. It's very PG-13. There's no gore. The scares are very obvious that they are coming. But the movie is very well acted, and it's a movie you watch a slow Sunday evening, basically. When you're a bit hungover. But yeah, I liked it. It's a recommend as well from me. And I just want to get it in there as well. I've been rewatching the Wrong Turn series as well. I'm up to part 6. I haven't gotten around to rewatch it yet. I won't go into them because we will cover them at some point. But I actually think that they are better than I remember them to be. To be honest, I didn't like them the first time around, but
grew on you.
Yeah, my taste in movies has changed over the years, so I guess. One final thing. I finished up season 5 of Fear the Walking Dead, which I did like a month ago. I'm really looking forward to season 6 because of the big cliffhanger that was basically a middle finger saying "fuck you" to the viewer. And I've also started watching the first season of American Horror Story. I think it's called Murder House. And I've got 5 or 6 episodes left of the first season. But I sort of enjoy it. I think it's kind of weird, but yeah. That's about it.
Well, that was a lot.
Trust me, I watched even more, but I don't know.
Yeah.
If I was gonna talk about each and every movie I've watched since I was last on the air, this episode would be like 45 hours long. So
Yeah. Well, I haven't really watched anything. I've just tried to study, at the very least,
what are you studying?
my driving license. So I'm trying to remember things as best I can.
And how does that go?
Poorly, but it's going somewhere.
Oh
At the very least.
shit!
At the very least, I'm better at driving than I am at reading, so... Ogge, have you watched anything recently?
No, actually, I haven't. I haven't been home a whole lot. Work, and I've been visiting my family up north a lot. So yeah,
Yeah.
How does the music go for you?
So moving on, I've done a bunch of tracks. I think I've been able to make like 4 tracks, I think. So yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. I can get stuff done when I want.
Well, thank God we have Joseph here to talk about a lot of movies when the rest of us can't.
Yeah.
That's basically all I do. If I'm not playing games or mixing music, I'm just sitting in my couch and watching movies or series.
Yeah. But with that said, shall we play the trailer?
Yeah, if you guys don't have anything else to say, so.
Other than Angel is off to the war again. That's why she's not here.
Yeah, she wasn't feeling well.
Yeah. But let's play that trailer.
Yeah, so here is the trailer for The Wicker Man, 1973.
I could a tale unfold, whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul, freeze thy young blood.
I am here to investigate the disappearance of a young girl. Where is Rowan Morrison?
If Rowan Morrison existed, we would know.
I suspect murder.
Sergeant, I've already told...
In the name of God, woman, what kind of mother are you? That can stand by and see your own child slaughtered?
You are the fool, Mr. Harry.
You're liars. You are despicable little liars. Dear God in heaven, even these people can't be that mad. Where is Rowan Morrison?
If Rowan Morrison existed, we would know.
I suspect murder.
She was back.
You are the fool, Mr. Harry.
Where is Rowan Morrison?
Oh my God!
A police sergeant from the mainland comes to the Scottish island of Summerisle in search of a missing girl. But the further he investigates her whereabouts, the stranger the villagers of Summerisle seem, claiming the girl never existed. So, let's start with Augie this time. What did you think of the movie? I'm just fastballing you.
What the fuck did I watch? No. This is a weird movie, but
Indeed.
I can tell it's very influential. Like Hot Fuzz, you can tell Hot Fuzz was inspired by it. There's also
Yeah.
another movie on Netflix that's been on there for a while. I think it's a Netflix original, which is very, very inspired by it. Unfortunately, I can't remember the name.
Okay, yeah. You can name drop it on the next episode, though.
Yeah, I have talked about it on the episode. So that's a movie I really like. So, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name.
Granny's Gone Wild number 12.
Exactly. It's some guy goes on island too.
Sounds great.
Yeah, really, it's very creative.
Yeah, very. I haven't seen a Hot Fuzz in years. I need to rewatch that one, but I've heard that The Wicker Man was one of the inspirations for that movie.
Yeah.
And I think the giallo subgenre, the Italian crime thriller, proto slasher subgenre, was one of the inspirations as well.
Yeah.
It's clearly shows.
Yeah, Hot Fuzz is basically this movie versus slasher turned into a comedy.
Huh.
Kind of.
Yeah, like I said, I need to rewatch it. I haven't seen it since it came out, so.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm old. Don't you dare say yeah, okay.
Indeed.
Yeah, you're old.
But yeah, hey.
Them be fighting words.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what I think of this movie yet.
That's fair.
Like, it has a very good plot, and some scenes are really atmospheric. Like, some of the music scenes. Like, it has a... Like, you kind of know something's up, and you want to find out about the mystery. But the movie is just so weird. And the actors are just... Like, or the characters are just so insane. So most of the movie, you're just wondering what's going on.
Yeah.
I actually watched this 2 times because the first time I watched it, I was basically in a coma, so I had to rewatch it to make any sense of it. And I can say that The Wicker Man, you basically need to watch it 2 times to understand it, because the second time around you know what to expect of it.
Mm.
It's sort of like the Switchblade romance thing, or whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Oh.
Because you pick up on things during the second watch that you didn't pick up on the first watch.
Yeah. I think now I would maybe give it like a 5 or 4. But if I rewatch it and maybe understand a bit more, I would probably give it like higher, like a 6 or 7 maybe.
Mm. Yeah.
What would you rate it, Joseph?
2.
No. I thought I can give my thoughts about it first before I. Yeah.
Please do.
So The Wicker Man, I knew of this film but I didn't know anything about it. The only knowledge of it I really had was the infamous, the not the bees scene in the supposedly shitty remake from 2006 with
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. But I thought it was an okay film. I usually get really bored by horror movies with a religious angle or theme. But there are of course exceptions, such as The Omen and The Exorcist, which we have covered. But The Wicker Man, like Ogge said, The Wicker Man was really weird the first time I saw it, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? But during my second watch, I picked up on a couple of things that I didn't pick up on the first time I saw it. And the movie's strongest side, I would say, is that it is the fact that the movie is so weird, which made me enjoy it to at least some extent. Even though it's a die-hard, slow burn type of movie, because let's face it, there isn't much happening here really in horror aspect, at least.
Not really.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but the movie I was talking about is Apostle.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So yeah.
We should cover that at some point as well, though.
Yeah.
But anyway, the movie's weirdness is what makes the movie watchable. If the movie wasn't so weird, it would have been a slog to get through, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think the movie is very well acted. Christopher Lee and Edward Woodward, the guy who played Howie, the police officer, is both excellent in their roles. And I honestly liked most of the characters in the movie, mostly because how weird they were, even though they were basically these religious nut jobs. Like, everyone is going around with a smirk on their face all of the time. I think the ending was quite powerful as well, with Howie's prayers to God and all of that stuff, along with the cult's cheerful singing. It was like this. You got the cheerful singing of the cult at the same time as you got this police officer who prays to God. It clashes.
Yeah, it was brutal, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I loved it.
It's not a graphic scene, but when these two elements clashes, it just makes the whole ending just very eerie and
yeah.
There's something
Just ends.
like there's something about 70s movies that makes them have such a powerful endings.
Yeah,
Like
at least some of them. There are exceptions, of course, but
like Planet of the Apes.
That's an ending that basically kicks the ball out of the park.
Yeah, all of them. All of the endings in those movies.
I've actually only seen the original, and when I saw that movie for the first and only time, I had to pick up my jaw from the floor at the ending. I was like, what the?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I thought I've watched not all of the sequels, but most of them, and I thought that you can't make anything close to that ending.
Yeah.
But then when I watched the sequels, I was like, damn. Like they did it but not the same way though, but
okay,
they're powerful.
Cool. Yeah. The only problem I really had with this movie was, unfortunately, the singing moments. And the only reason for that is that I usually hate musicals. I mean, if it's not an animated like Disney movie where they are singing, I just, you know, I get really bored by it.
Yeah.
Like shut up and act instead. It's a movie, not a damn music video.
Yeah.
But with that being said, some of the singing moments were kind of funny, like the landlord's daughter. I laughed out loud when they were singing that song. But overall, I just think that the singing moments were overall unnecessary. They could have cut down those at least with 2 or 3 songs, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's one of them that I liked. I don't. It's close to like the landlord's daughter one, but it's a guy playing a guitar.
I think it's the Maple.
Yeah, it's pretty early in the movie. I actually liked that scene.
Johnny Gently or something or other.
I have no
Johnny
idea.
Gently Johnny.
Yeah,
Close enough.
yeah, probably that one.
Yeah.
I liked that scene.
Yeah, that song is kind of airy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just.
But yeah, I'm just gonna finish up my thoughts here. I thought it was an okay movie overall. Since it's considered a classic, we had to cover it at some point, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think it was a pretty good choice for the show, at least. You come up with some movies we probably wouldn't had talked about if it weren't for you, Zombie. So.
Aww, flattery won't get you anywhere.
So thumbs up to Zombie and a sideways thumbs up to the Wicker Man. My rating will be 6 out of 10.
Okay.
So it's an okay movie, but it's nothing I will rewatch on a repeat viewing. You know.
Yeah. I also didn't really have any expectation watching this movie because I didn't know anything about it other than it had like cult vibes about it. But other than that, I was blind. As already mentioned, it is a very, very weird movie, but I love the acting that they do and just Christopher Lee. It was so weird watching him young, because all the other times I've only seen him in like Lord of the Rings.
By the way, speaking of Mr. Lee, had any of you seen the Hammer Dracula movies from, I think it's the 50s or the 60s?
Yet. I will do that.
Don't know if I have. I might have.
I actually think we should cover them at some point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they are considered classics, so
Yeah.
it would be interesting to at least cover one of them, at least the original Hammer Dracula.
Yeah.
I don't mind that at all, actually. I think we should.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry for cutting you off.
It's nothing. It's in like the spirit of the movie, kinda. But I think the ending was very powerful. I liked it. Just the burning and the screaming, and that's just how it ended, with a sacrifice to the gods. And their happy singing, it kind of just made the earlier moments in the movie just a bit eerier, because they were singing happily and smiling and whatnot, and that's what they have done throughout the whole movie. But in this context, they're actually killing someone, and they can have the very same happy faces and the very same happy tone of singing wherever they are doing, be it just being in a tavern or sacrificing someone in flames. And I think that's part of like why the movie is scary in a way, that you don't know what they'll do next because they never change their weirdness, which there's plenty of. And just it was a good movie, but not a very eventful one as mentioned earlier. And that's about it, really. Good acting, pretty good movie. Not necessarily horror. I don't really know why it has that.
It is a
genre.
horror movie. It is a horror movie, but it's a slow burn horror movie.
Yeah. I just don't really felt like it would fit in that category necessarily. It was more of a mystery
I
movie.
I I would I would say it's more of a psychological horror movie than a
Straight up horror.
like a bombastic jump scare type of horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of in the line between horror and thriller, in a
Yeah.
way. It's
Yeah. Sounds about right.
And a bit of drama thrown in there in the mix.
yeah, it's
But there wa-
it's a very
it's
gray
sort of-
area.
Yeah, it's sort of a what's it called? A hybrid between different genres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really like movies like that where you can't really tell what genre it is, and it's
It just is.
yeah, that has like a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Mm.
They're just making a movie for the sake of making a movie rather than making it fit a certain mold.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, guys, did you understand what would happen to Howie, like early on in the film, like that he would die, but perhaps not in the way he did?
No, I didn't think that. I thought it was gonna get away.
Like, I only got it when they were running through the tunnel and she went up there. That's when I was like, wait, you could have run away any time. What? What's going on?
I honestly understood that he would die like the second he stepped on the island. I was like, okay, he's gonna die.
Like,
I just had a gut feeling like, okay.
like as the outsider in this community, it felt like it was given. Actually, when you think about it, you just don't always think about it.
Yeah, the story, well, the ground foundation of the story about a man who goes to an island alone, full with nut jobs, isn't new even for this movie.
Yeah.
It has been done before, long before this one,
Yeah.
The Wicker Man. So that's why I was like, he's going alone to an island. He's gonna die.
Now that I think of it, this Shutter Island is pretty similar to this movie too.
I haven't seen that one since it came out, but I remember the twist in it.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
I don't remember basically anything else besides that.
Yeah, I've seen that movie a lot of times.
And
Uh,
yeah,
I've read the book as well.
Wow. What rating would you give it, Sammy?
oh, that's a hard one.
Is it
Oh.
hard?
Shush. Shush you. I guess I'd give it like a 6, like you, because it was like not necessarily a bad movie, but it was weird. And like, I think what kept me throughout the most of the movie was just the police sergeant's constant being like mad at the people at some point. When he just went like, well, you're fucked up. Go.
Or heathens.
Yeah.
I believe he was deeply religious as well.
Yeah.
Howie.
He was very, very religious, and he hated the thought of paganism, which I find hilarious personally.
Okay, so the movie gets sort of a thumbs up
Yeah,
because of the weirdness of it.
Yeah.
the weirdness and the weirdness.
Doesn't get the finger or the thumbs up, it just gets the fist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
So we
I
have-
give it a fist. That's my rating.
perfect.
Poor Wicker Man.
Yeah.
Is there anything else to add?
Any special scenes anyone would like to talk about? Great.
You know
Do we-
that, yeah, like there were some scenes where a woman was breastfeeding, and when he walks outside, and they have some sort of sex party. I
Yeah,
thought it was hallucinating.
like it was cut so weirdly that it really looked like it at the beginning. It was like, what?
The breastfeeding scene, I actually read up on that. I can't remember if it was the writer or the director who had said it in an interview, but it had something to do with making the woman more fertile, I think. She wanted another baby. That's why she was breastfeeding and sitting with an egg in her hand.
Okay.
And it had something to do with their religious beliefs, this cult.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm not entirely sure, but I think like it stems from real like religious beliefs, because it has some elements that are like real to some extent, like the maypole. We have that over here, just a very different kind, but kind of the same. So it has like some roots in truth.
Yeah, it's like an old household tip, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like wash your face in milk and the acne goes away.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the sex scene, yeah, that scene, it sort of stops. It stops and then it continues like in 2 frames or something, or like 10 frames.
Yeah.
It looks really weird.
Yeah, I thought it was, at that point, I thought it was hallucinating and he was the killer. But he had some split personality or something. That's what I started thinking.
That he was gonna turn out to be a madman himself.
Yeah,
That would have been pretty interesting.
yeah,
Like if everyone was this weird throughout the movie, and at the end it turned out that everything that happened throughout the movie was just in his head, and everyone was normal, but he saw them as complete nut jobs.
yeah,
That would have been a pretty interesting take on the whole thing.
yeah. It reminds me of another movie that I'm not gonna mention. Because I might actually pick that movie, even though it's, yeah, kind of not a horror.
Well, it could be a controversial pick though.
Yeah.
Ooh. We're getting controversial here.
I'm gonna go controversial at some point.
Me too, I'm gonna pick Titanic.
Oh shit! That movie needs a slasher villain.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Well, technically it has one, but
Well, the first hour of Titanic is crap, if I remember correctly, but the whole catastrophe scenes is pretty intense.
actually I think all 3 hours of it is crap.
Okay, Ogge isn't part of the podcast anymore.
Don't you
Yeah.
just love it when Rose just pulls out the Glock and just get me on that boat? I love that scene.
No.
It really does it for the horror.
Yeah.
When she was the villain all along.
I
Would
like
have been
the
interesting. It would
credits
have
though.
been interesting to see Titanic with a slasher villain, who like stalks a group of people during the sinking of the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, not only do you have the boat to worry about, but now you also have to worry about getting shanked.
Wouldn't it wouldn't it be funny though if they made it with a slasher villain and when they kill him at the end, they end up hitting that ice. Yeah, sinking that ice ship.
Finally defeated the villain.
out
Crash.
of the ashes and into the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious.
That's a big fuck you to the heroes, though.
Yeah.
Talk about downbeat endings.
Yeah.
Yes, finally we beat the villain. And it ends as you see the boat approaching the iceberg. Like, shit.
Yeah. Like the main hero is like, what?
Perfect.
And then the rest of the characters are like pissed at him, start screaming at him. But what the fuck are you doing? You kill us all.
Mr. Walker turns into Mr. Wheeler.
Yeah.
Motorist. Oh shit. Do you guys have anything else to say about the Wicker Man?
Do you have any trivia?
Okay, so this is like we mentioned earlier. This is a classic, and there is tons of information out there.
Yeah, it's old.
Yeah, it's very well known as well. But I picked up a couple of small things, which I've just found interesting myself. So I wanted to share them with you guys. There were actually a sequel released to this one, but it was released in 2011, and it's called The Wicker Tree, and it's based on the novel Cowboys for Christ, and the novel was also written by Robin Hardy, who directed The Wicker Man and The Wicker Tree, which I found pretty interesting. How that movie is, I don't know. Sequels that are released like 40 years after the original usually stinks. So, I don't know.
It doesn't sound very good.
Yeah, I don't know what it's about either, so...
I just came back.
Huh?
I have internet problems and I disconnected.
Oh.
Which is always great. You just started to talk about the trivia and then it cut out like, fuck.
Well, okay. There was a sequel to this movie called The Wicker Tree. It was released in 2011. It was based on Cowboys for Christ, which was a novel written by Robin Hardy, who directed this movie and The Wicker Tree. That was what I told Ogge while you were disconnected.
Oh. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, and the second and final thing I picked up was that there are 3 different cuts to this movie. A theatrical cut, a director's cut, and a final cut. And the final cut is some kind of hybrid version, basically, based on the theatrical version, but it contains the most striking differences from the director's cut. So it's basically the most striking version of the movie or whatever. And from what I've understood, there are still scenes missing from the movie. I think the negatives got destroyed in a fire or something.
Oh no.
So yeah.
Hmm.
But that was everything I had.
Okay.
Okay.
And like I said, it's a well-known movie. There's tons of information about it out there if you want to know more about it. So
Yeah. And lots of other people have talked about it as well.
yeah.
But other than that, what's next pick?
The next pick is actually mine.
Are we getting controversial already?
No, no, actually not.
Please not Titanic. Please not Titanic.
We are covering Titanic 2.
It sank again.
There's a sequel.
Yeah, there is.
What? Why?
I think it's the Asylum who produced it. The same company who did the Sharknado movies.
Titanic 2, they just bring the boat back up to sink it again. That's the whole plot.
It's a submarine movie,
No, but it's my pick, and I think I got a treat for you guys. I haven't seen this nor the sequels for over 10 years, so I can't promise anything, but we are gonna cover the American/Italian co-production The Curse from 1987 in the next episode.
Ooh.
I think it's a treat for you. I don't remember it whatsoever, but I remember that I really liked it when I watched it for the first and only time over 10 years ago. So,
well, that will be a fun watch.
I think so, at least.
Yeah. And what movie? Or
movie?
The Curse.
What?
What movie are we playing out with?
Yes, exactly. That was exactly what I was gonna say. But what song are we gonna play out with? Pray tell.
Paul Giovanni, under the pseudonym Magnet, Corner Rigs, which is one of the introduction songs of The Wicker Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's say goodbye to the good people then.
Goodbye. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, goodbye, good people. Thanks for tuning in.
Goodbye, good people. Thank you for listening, and I hope I'll hear from you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It was upon a lammas night when corn rigs are bonny. Beneath the moon's unclouded light I held a while to Annie. The time went by with careless heed till 'tween the late and early. With small persuasion she agreed to see me through the barley. Corn rigs and barley rigs and corn rigs are bonny.